They had it all: genius, fame, and unimaginable wealth. They walked among the stars of their time, celebrated by millions, envied by many. From the brilliance of invention to the roar of stadiums, from the glow of the spotlight to the hush of the art gallery, these legends defined success in their own extraordinary ways. But fortune is fickle, and time unforgiving. Behind the applause and glittering lights were battles few ever saw: financial ruin, betrayal, addiction, and the silent toll of genius. They soared to unimaginable heights, only to plummet into darkness. Some died in obscurity, others fell into debt or disgrace. But each of their stories remains a haunting reminder: greatness is not invincible. This is not just a tale of loss, but a reflection on the fragile line between immortality and oblivion. This is the story of those who rose higher than most and fell farther than anyone ever imagined.
Disappeared due to excessive spending and poor philanthropy.
Nikola Tesla lit up the world, a visionary who gave us alternating current, radio technology, and the foundation for the modern power grid. At his peak, he was a scientific superstar, rubbing shoulders with titans like Thomas Edison and J.P. Morgan. But while the world chased profit, Tesla chased possibility. He dreamed of free energy for all, of a wireless world decades before its time. Yet those dreams, too grand for the greed of the age, left him isolated and dismissed. He lost his fortune, his investors, and eventually his voice in the scientific world. In the end, Tesla died alone in a cramped New York hotel room, penniless. His only companions, the pigeons he fed daily in the park. The man who once envisioned powering the entire planet was buried in debt and forgotten by the very society he revolutionized. Today, his name powers cars and commands awe. But in his time, he was a legend, lost too soon. Oscar Wilde, wit, charm, brilliance, London adored him. His plays packed theaters, his words dazzled society. But in 1895, fame turned to infamy. Put on trial for loving another man, Wilde was sentenced to 2 years of hard labor. It broke him. Released, sick and penniless, he wandered Europe in exile. At 46, he died alone in a cheap Paris hotel. The world that once cheered him vanished. On his tomb, his own words remain: "I can resist everything except temptation." Once playful, now a tragic echo of a genius silenced too soon. Iron Mike Tyson, the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. A force of nature in the ring, he earned over $400 million in a career fueled by raw power, unshakable confidence, and ferocious talent. At just 20, he became a legend, unstoppable, untouchable, feared by all. But behind the punches and the glory, a storm was building. Tyson's life outside the ring spiraled into chaos and excess. Lavish mansions, fleets of luxury cars, a $2 million gold bathtub, and even pet Bengal tigers. He lived like a king, but with no crown strong enough to hold the weight of fame, trauma, and temptation. Bad business deals, lawsuits, prison time, and years of reckless spending drained everything. He once said, "Everyone wanted a piece of me, and in the end, there was nothing left." By 2003, he was bankrupt, his fortune gone, his legacy in question. Yet Tyson's story is more than a fall. It's a reminder of how quickly the world builds up its heroes, and how mercilessly it tears them down. From the top of the world to rock bottom, Mike Tyson lived it all in brutal, breathtaking speed. Amedeo Modigliani, the artist with hollow eyes and a burning soul. He arrived in Paris with big dreams and empty pockets. His portraits, elegant, raw, and rule-breaking, were misunderstood. Critics laughed, buyers walked away. He traded art for food, sketched to survive. Sick, addicted, and forgotten, he died at 35. The next day, his heartbroken lover took her own life. In life, ignored. In death, immortal. Today, his work sells for millions. Modigliani reminds us, genius is often seen too late. George Best, football's first true superstar. A Belfast boy with magic in his feet and movie star charm. At Manchester United, he dazzled the world, winning the European Cup by 22. Fame followed fast. Goals, glory, headlines. But behind the brilliance, the pressure took hold. Alcohol became his escape. Missed games, lost chances. His career faded too soon. "I spent 90% of my money on booze, women, and fast cars. The rest I wasted," he joked. But the joke turned tragic. Years of drinking cost him his health, and his life at just 59. George Best lit up the game and showed how fame can burn from both ends. Michael Jackson, the child prodigy who became the king of pop. From moonwalking across global stages to redefining music videos, he didn't just entertain, he transformed culture. With albums like Thriller, Bad and Dangerous, he shattered records, set trends, and earned over $1 billion during his lifetime. But behind the glittering glove and the million-watt smile was a man haunted by pressure, isolation, and relentless scrutiny. He built Neverland, part dream, part fortress, seeking the childhood he never had. Yet that dream turned into a gilded cage. His spending spiraled. Exotic animals, theme park rides, $17 million for the ranch itself, private jets, rare art, and staff for a kingdom only he lived in. At his peak, Jackson owned half of the Beatles' music catalog. At his end, he owed over $400 million, his empire teetering on collapse. Years of legal battles, health issues, and personal struggles eroded his peace. And still, he chased perfection, rehearsing for a comeback tour that would never come. In 2009, Michael Jackson died alone, just weeks before his final curtain call. His funeral was watched by over 2.5 billion people, a global farewell to a man the world never truly understood. His legacy, as brilliant as it is broken. A genius whose light dazzled so brightly it burned him from the inside out. Burt Reynolds, Hollywood's golden boy with a grin that lit up the screen. From Smokey and the Bandit to Deliverance, he ruled the box office and lived like a king. Private jets, ranches, millions per film. He had it all. But fame fades and fortunes fall. Bad deals, a costly divorce, and overspending left him bankrupt. "I've done everything wrong, twice," he joked. Still, he kept acting, not for money, but for love of the craft. When he died in 2018, he left more than memories. He left a story of rise, fall, and relentless spirit. A star who never stopped shining, flaws and all. Vincent van Gogh, tormented, brilliant, and heartbreakingly unseen. He painted with raw emotion and colors that felt otherworldly. But in life, he sold just one painting. Hungry, unstable, and alone, he chose art over food, fueling his passion with pain. Supported only by his brother Theo, Vincent created over 2,000 works, many now called masterpieces. From asylums, he painted the Starry Night. Through bars. At 37, he died from a gunshot wound, believing he was a failure. His last words, "The sadness will last forever." Today, his art is priceless. Van Gogh's story isn't just tragic. It's a reminder that true genius is often seen far too late.